Good morning. It is the 9th of October. It's about 9:30 in the morning. It's not raining. I don't have to be at work until later on today, and I'm in the garden, and oh my goodness, I have missed having time to just be here. So I have been speaking about how I'm feeling really overwhelmed with my garden and how I've really let it get out of control over the last few weeks, or really months. But I've been chipping away in between the other things that you've been seeing me doing, just popping out and doing 10 minutes at a time. So I've made a start on these paths. There is huge amounts to be done, but coming into the autumn and winter months, lots of people are now winding their gardens down and starting to think about, especially people on allotment plots, maybe putting them to bed for the winter. But I'm actually really looking forward to the coming weeks and months, and I'll show you why. So I've still got plenty going on in the garden, and where many of you are starting to pull things down, I'm actually looking at where I can have things coming up. So starting off with, I have seeds. Now these are all, well, I haven't actually looked through them. There may be some things I can be sowing now, but predominantly these are going to be things to be sown in the spring. But isn't it nice to have that to look forward to? And these are just a bunch of seeds that came free with, I think it was the Kitchen Garden magazine. I also have some seeds. Any of you that used to watch or may still be watching her channel, I know she's not making videos now, but she has a fabulous Facebook page and group, and that's Jasmine from Alternative Smallholding. And Jasmine, if you happen to be watching this video, I know you're a very busy lady. I have thanked you personally, but thank you so much. So Jasmine sent me a journal that she had spare and sent it to me, and it's something that's going to be so useful to me at the moment, just to stay on track. But what she didn't tell me she was going to do is add into that. Now, Jazz grows the most amazing tomatoes, and I've never known anyone grow tomatoes like Jazz. She grows the most amazing varieties, and she has such success. I'm just going to come up to the camera. Look at these beautiful, beautiful packets, all saved and packaged beautifully. And I can't even tell you the varieties I've got here. There's just too many. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's some chard, yellow chard. Some hollyhocks. Jasmine, can't even tell you how happy those make me, and I can't tell you how excited I am to grow them next year in my kind of cottage garden bed that I've started. Some larkspur, but predominantly crazy and wonderful varieties of tomato. So super excited about those. So those are going to be stored very carefully to make sure no critters get to them between now and spring. But on to things I can be sowing or growing now. Let me move my coffee. So those of you that have been following me for a long time will recall that I had these grand plans. We have a gateway to the farm, which is just behind you, and it kind of sweeps around. I'm making it sound far grander than it actually is. It's just a gateway, but it has I was going to say a sweep to it, a sweeping curve. You know, we live in a manor house. Those of you that know me know I live in a shoebox-sized cottage. We're just really, really lucky to have the 10 acres, and because it's a farm, it has this lovely farm gateway. And last year, about this time, I can't believe a year has passed, I had this grand plan to be planting some daffodil bulbs in that gateway, and I did have a packet of bulbs. And then we had I think I was poorly, and then we had snow, and then one thing led to another, and I ended up putting the daffodils into the flower bed. And actually, in hindsight, that was a really good plan, because you know, sometimes when you buy something and it's not what you thought it was, and I thought they were going to be the big traditional trumpeted kind of blousy, as I call them, daffodils, they actually turned out to be the little tete-a-tetes, and my plan would not have worked. So they went into the flower bed and they were really pretty. But what I have got is, oh my goodness, this is heavy, 3 kilograms of big fat daffodil bulbs. And so I'm not sure how many there are, but there's lots. And they are going to go into the gateway. So I'll use my bulb planter and I'm going to get those in, so that in the spring I've got a real welcome for anybody that comes to visit, or just for people that drive past. It will look really lovely with those cheery waving daffodils. So I've got those, so that's something I can be putting in now to enjoy in the spring. And then I also have, so I'm a little bit boring when it comes to onions. I kind of know what I know my onions. I know what I like. So I've got my lovely 2 varieties that I love to put in and overwinter onion sets. And I've got red onions, which are the variety electric, and my white onion or green onion, and they are radar. And allegedly there's 50 sets of the radar and 250 grams of the electric. So there's always more in the pack, isn't there? And over the years I've had anywhere between 100 and 200 onions that I overwinter. And talking of onions, before we move on to what else I'm going to be growing, let's go and have a look in the polytunnel, and we'll talk about onions and shallots and a few other things that are going on, and then I'll tell you about what's in this packet. So here in the polytunnel, I still haven't dealt with the onions. They're still fine, but I really need to process them. We have been eating them, so we've still got lots of shallots and lots of these. Awesome. I was going to say it was a tractor, but it's that. Oh, it was a tractor with a big. I thought it was a truck, but it's a tractor with a big grain holder on the back. But these onions, they're still really good, and before I potentially lose them, I need to get them processed. So these will be chopped and frozen. I will keep a few dry, but there's just so many of them, and I have nowhere to store them in the house, so it's just easier to chop and freeze. That's what I do with my onions. So they need to be processed. And while we're in here, lots of exciting things to show you, and then we'll go and I'll show you what's in that envelope. So can you remember I showed you these peppers? See if I can get one off. So look at these gorgeous little peppers, and we've been picking and eating them, and they're absolutely lovely, and they're still coming. So the foliage is dying back now, and we did eat a couple that were green, but I really wanted to ripen them up. So now we've just got lots and lots of these orange and red peppers, and I will probably harvest the lot and we'll eat them over the coming days and weeks. There's another little green one there. I'm still getting these amazing, I mean, these are starting to drop off now, midnight snacks. Let's see if we can find a nice one to show you that hasn't actually split, because they're starting to split now. But they're still coming. Some of them are still ripe, and I can just literally pop them off and eat them. Let's grab one. Oh, I mean, look at these little cherry midnight snack tomatoes. They're amazing. There's still loads on the vines. Lots are just splitting and dropping off now. But what I will be doing is saving some of those seeds. Because they've been amazing. Still lots of other things going on, so let's move the camera around and I'll show you. I've got more tomatoes than I know what to do with, so let's have a look at those and what else there is going on in here. So just look at these tomatoes. They just keep on coming, And so I've got loads on this vine. There's some behind you that you can't see. So these are the Roma, the plum tomato, and then I don't know what the variety of these are, but these lovely round ones. And you can see I've got all of these tomatoes on the staging as well. And I will be showing you in a video coming up how I'm going to use the slow cooker to use all the tomatoes to make some soup and sauce, or soups and sauces, which I will then freeze. So keep watching for a future video where I show you where I do that, as I say, with a slow cooker. And then I've also got in here some lovely leeks, which I've got the leek and I've still got potatoes, so I can get those up and make a leek and potato soup. I've still got some carrots. The parsnips are doing well. I've got chard. So there's still lots going on in here, and the temperatures are still good. So I'm not going to clear the polytunnel. I'm going to continue to enjoy the peppers and the leek and the tomatoes, the carrots. There's still a few beans, loads of chard that will keep coming for some months yet, through into the spring really. And the parsnips, we can have a few now, but obviously I want to save some for our festive meal. So much still going on and so much to look forward to. And those of you that have known me for a long time will have never seen me have a successful garlic harvest, and will probably have noticed that over the last probably 3, maybe 4 years, maybe less, can't remember, I've given up on growing garlic. But I once gave up on growing brassicas because I'd had so many problems with pests and failure, and I just decided they weren't worth the trouble. And that was, oh goodness, probably 20 years ago I gave up on growing brassicas, having had many failures. Obviously we weren't living here then, back on a small holding I lived on a long time ago, but I decided brassicas weren't for me. But since living here, I did give brassicas another go and have had really good success. Not so much this year, although I have got some going, but for the first year I tried them again, I just was thrilled with my results. Cabbages and sprouts and cauliflower and all of the brassicas. This year not so much, but mainly my fault because I haven't been putting the time in the garden. But I decided, you know, giving up on things isn't clever really, is it? So I have ordered some garlic and I'm going to have another go. So I've got 4 bulbs of garlic. They were mail order. I can't even remember what variety they are, it might say on here. No, it doesn't. It did when I ordered them. But I'm going to give them another go. So keep your fingers crossed for me, and let's hope that this might be my season where I finally crack growing garlic and have a decent garlic harvest. And look at these nasturtium. So some of the things that had died back a little bit, I put it on a second flush, and I often find that happens into the autumn. So I've got these gorgeous nasturtium climbing up, and I've actually also got, and we're getting a little bit closer, so a lot of you are already harvesting your pumpkin and your squash, and these are the Jack Be Little, and they are a little bit behind, but in previous years when I cast my mind back and had a little look at some photographs, sometimes my squash have been a little bit later, and actually if you think about it, we are traditionally picking our pumpkins at the end of October, and it's only the beginning of October, so we've still got a good number of days for these to mature, and I'm hoping I will get some of those Jack Be Little. It would be nice to have some to use for decoration around October the 31st, but also, you know, October into November I can still be harvesting and using them for food. So if we just delve into the undergrowth here, oh, I've got one here that's actually ready. We'll get him out and look at him properly. And then I've got lots of these little ones all over the plant. another one there. I don't know if you can see it. The camera angle's not very good. So, you know what? I think we might be in for a later than everybody else harvest of these Jackby Littles. I've just also picked this gorgeous Yukiki Kiri, and there are a few more amongst the foliage down there. There were some butternut. I can't see any, but who knows what might be hidden under there. So over the weeks coming up, I'm going to start clearing, tackling, harvesting, processing what I have got growing. And if you keep watching, share that journey with me. So we've got loads going on under the brassica netting. We've got squash and brassicas under this netting. The strawberry bed is in desperate need of some weeding. The raspberries are bursting out of the netting and taking over, so they need some serious attention. Over here we've got chives, some gorgeous beetroot. I've still got potatoes, some that I planted not so long ago, and a couple of tubs still left to harvest. Lots of flowers still coming. The sweet peas here are still looking wonderful. There's some sweet peas behind you. So there's loads going on, lots to harvest, lots to eat, lots to enjoy, and lots to look forward to planting and growing. So it would be all too easy to come out and only see the negatives, the overgrown beds, the pathways that are starting to be taken over with weeds, the crops that didn't do so well. But actually, although everything's a bit of a tangly mess, things are still thriving, and I'm still getting lots and lots of positives and lots of food. So I've got these pumpkin and squash. As I say, there's more out there. There's so much going on. How can I possibly be down in the dumps? So let's focus on the positives and not the negatives. So I'm actually just going to enjoy, I'm going to take my coffee and I'm going to have a walk around again and have a really good look at everything. Start to make plans in my head of what I'm going to do when. And I'm really looking forward to transforming my plot back to its former glory over the coming months. So keep watching if you want to see the progress and also some of the new things that will be developing here in my vegetable garden. So don't forget, we've got the greenhouse that will be going up. I've got the asparagus, which is still in the polytunnel, and I'm going to just put it into some bigger pots over the winter. But in the spring, I will have a dedicated asparagus bed, and finally I'll get that asparagus out. So lots are going to be going on at that end of the plot. I'm going to have a last-ditch attempt at a wildflower meadow. I've got some more ideas in my head and up my sleeve. So yeah, lots and lots of exciting things will be happening, and lots more will be going on in the garden.